Today I'm going to review a video of an unconscious spin that leads to a cascading stall event and near impact. I'm going to break this down so you can avoid it in the future. Ready? Here we go. I'm an elite paraglider with over 3,000 flight hours and multiple distance records. Founder of the Paragliding Men's Group, where great pilots transform into greater men, partners, and fathers. Mastery in the sky begins with owning our shit on the ground, so if you're a man who wants it all, welcome home. What's up, guys? This is Ari in the Air. Welcome back to the channel. Stoked you're here. Today, I got a video from a viewer of an incident that he had just a few days ago in Switzerland, and it's really actually quite scary. He comes so close to the ground, and honestly, the impact from this kind of cascade could definitely have been fatal here. So this is a really close call. So let's watch it once, and then I'm going to break it down for you to show you so that we can learn from it. Okay, so he's turning circles here on a little cloud. Lots of brakes, spin, outside brake, stall, tail slide, spinning, heli, restall, double stall, reinflation, stall again, shoot, and inflated, and he's 12 feet off the ground. That was not good, he said. Yeah, brother, that was very much not good. Okay, so let's go back. He wrote me, he said, hey man, can you look at a couple of things? Give me your opinion on a couple of things. One of the things that he said was his harness configuration. His friend looked at the video and said, oh, this harness, the attachment points are so high. He said that he's very short. He's 5'3". When I look at this, it does kind of look strange to me, but as I watch the video over and over, it doesn't look like the harness is like a strange harness. Maybe it's too big for him, and maybe his height plays into this a little bit. But as I've watched this video 2 or 3 times now, I can tell you 100% this is all pilot error. This is not the equipment. Having said that, it does seem that these risers are quite long. I'm not sure this is a Goose Mark III Little Cloud. A lot of people have bad things to say about Little Cloud. I think that Tom and Little Cloud make great stuff. I think it's for a specific use case. I've flown 100 miles on a Graccio, so I know Little Cloud gliders pretty well. I've also done some high wind soaring on them. I think that's what they're best for. But these risers do look long to me. I don't know if we get Tom's attention on this, he could probably chime in here. But the problem is not that the equipment is like wrong, but maybe this guy, Jao Ling, can't totally reach as high up as he should be able to. Okay, so that's the last time I'll address this, because everything in this is totally pilot error, and I don't think that it really plays into it. Okay, so let's push play. Okay, so he's turning. He's not weight shifted very far. That might be a thing. He's weight shifted over. You see the glider gets kicked up into a thermal. He hears some beeps, and then stalls the right side of the glider. You see he's started to spin, and then what he does to try to stop the spin, instead of going hands up, if you spin your glider, the correct response, hands all the way up. That's not what he does. You see he spins the glider, he persists on the right brake, and he pulls the left brake to stop the spin, which stalls the glider entirely. It goes into a tail slide, right? And then he's heliing. Okay, what you're going to notice as we watch this, I want to play it through one more time. He is turning right, spins the glider. So now the right side of the glider is stalled, and the left side seems like it's shooting, but it's really not. He responds with left brake, which stalls the entirety of the glider. He then has asymmetric brake input, which starts it to heli, and then he starts basically being reactive. As he's reactive, he's a day late and a dollar short in all of his inputs, and watch his arms. He's basically just doing this over and over. As he gets kicked to one side of the glider, he puts his hand down like he's falling on the ground, like he's putting his hand out for balance, and it stalls the opposite glider. And then he puts his hand out for balance, and it stalls the opposite glider. This is a really common mistake that pilots make, and it takes a long time to develop the body mechanics in acrobatics, particularly where you dissociate your hand movements from what your body position is doing. Because our bodies have these intuitions, we have these reactions, these responses of, if we're going to fall over, we put our hand out. But if we're in a paragliding harness under a paraglider and we fall over to one side of the harness and we put our hand out and it pulls a ton of brake, now we're kind of screwed. Okay. So just watch. I'm just going to scroll back just right until the inception of the first spin right here. And I'm going to push play. I want you to watch what happens with his arms and how reactive his hands are here. Okay. Ready? reactive. Right hand down, left hand down, right hand down, left hand down, both hands down. You see? You see? I'm just also just so glad that this ended up on my computer screen and not with him having a horrible accident and getting hurt right here. So grateful this all worked out. In this clip, like, you kind of can see the risers do seem long, and it seems like it would be difficult for him to totally get his hands above the pulleys. But honestly, I think that if he were to go hands up, he would be hands up on the glider. Like, it's not the glider. I think that maybe he's a bit short, has short arms, and I think that's what we're noticing. But in general, this is all pilot error. Okay, so to start at the beginning, once again, he spins the right side of the glider. The correct response when you spin the glider is both hands all the way up. He spins the glider and pulls the left brake. Now he stalled the left side of the glider as well. And now he goes into a tail slide. Now he's doing a little heli. Now he's reactive. Hands, 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 hands. He's just falling back and forth. Hands, hands. Finally, he just goes hands up enough that the glider shoots and it has enough pressure that his heavy-handedness doesn't stall the glider once again. It really is not that crazy of a cascade here, and it doesn't have that many mistakes. The big mistake here is that he spins the glider and he responds with more brake on the opposite side as opposed to just going hands up. That is the entire mistake here. He spins the right side of the glider, just needs to go hands up, but he pulls the left side of the glider, it stalls the entire thing. Right there. That's the whole thing. Obviously, I asked him if he had ever done an SIV. He said he has never done an SIV. This just goes to show you need to be training your stalls. You need to have mentorship, train your stalls so that when you find your glider in a tail slide, that you know how to get it out of a tail slide and you don't just cascade unconsciously, pulling more brakes, falling, pushing your human instincts, your human reactions are working against you. You actually want to build the muscle memory through practice and mentorship and practice and practice and practice, repetition, 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 so that your hands do what they should. Here in this frame that we're looking at right here, you can see his hands are nearly at the pulleys, and it's likely that if he just put his hands up just a little bit more, he'd be at the pulleys. It's not the glider's fault, although it does look strange for such a short guy to be on long risers in a deep-seated harness, but like I said, not the gear, totally a human error here. So glad it worked out. Train stalls. If you spin the glider, spinning the glider is such a benign thing, and so many incidents and accidents happen starting with an unconscious spin. You need to train spin appreciation. It's one of the most important things that you'll ever learn. It's more important than stalls because you're bound to have it happen, right? In this case, he's just making a turn. He's turning, he's turning, he's turning. The glider gets kicked back in a bit of a thermal. You get a lot of an angle of attack, and the glider spins. All he has to do is just put two hands up. The glider is going to shoot. That's all that's going to happen. But instead, he stalls the glider, goes into an unconscious cascade that he doesn't know how to get out of, and luckily it ends before the earth. So thanks so much to him for sending this video, and so glad it worked out without total accident. Thanks so much for watching. Welcome to the channel. If you haven't been here before, definitely subscribe and check out the comment section. If you have real questions about paragliding, ask them here in the comments. Myself or some of the best SIV instructors in the world frequent this comment section. So there's lots of great experienced pilots around to give you answers. So thanks for being here. We'll see you on the next episode.